Hey Joyriders, welcome back to the channel. Today's episode is about asphalt pump tracks. They are a game changer. If you haven't ridden one, you need to. If you have, you know what I'm talking about. No matter who you are, if you're a 12-year-old kid, if you're a 80-year-old man, if you want to bring a pump track to your town or your city, I guarantee you can do it if you follow these steps.
My name is Ron Swanson, and I'm going to tell you everything you need to know about the miserable, screwed up world of local government.
I was on a lift with my friend doing a little downhill. He showed me a video of one of these Velo Solution pump tracks. We're thinking like, how, where, I want to ride one of those. And he passed away that day. And as my wife and I were thinking about ways to remember him, the pump track just kept coming to the fore. And eventually I acted on it. I went to the city of Boulder to try to figure out how we could get a pump track in Boulder. At this point, I've been part of 3 pump tracks, the one in Broomfield, the one we're putting in Boulder, and the Boulder Foundation. And I've learned what to do and what not to do. Why is no one listening to me right now? Hey guys, great job. I've also got Jeff Haley from the city of Boulder. He's gonna explain best practices to actually get a pump track in your town or your city. And you will be doing an amazing service for your community. I am here with someone who knows more about what goes on behind the scenes at Parks and Recs than pretty much anybody. Jeff Haley from Boulder Parks and Rec.
I consider myself Ron Swanson.
I'm Ron Swanson.
We're gonna go through the mistakes I made, best practices for talking with Parks and Rec, tips for going to the city council, and by the end of this video, you're gonna have everything you need to begin the process of getting one of these babies in your town. On the same track, you can start on a Strider and you can eventually compete in a UCI sanctioned world championship. There's nothing else like that, other than a tennis court or a basketball court. Pump tracks are to cycling what the city basketball court is to the NBA. They're that fundamental to how they're gonna shape the future of cycling. This is the time to get involved. And I guarantee you, if you follow these steps, within 3 years, you'll have a pump track in your town. If I'm somebody who's trying to get a project like this going, should I expect that you know what's up with pump track?
When you came and said, well, we'd like to help support and provide this to Boulder.
You said, what's a pump track?
What's a pump track? What's it made of? How do you take care of it? How much space do you need? Cost, lifespan, start from the basics.
What are you guys looking for in a project?
To focus on the health and well-being of everyone in Boulder. When you think about a pump track and how does that align with it and how does that really fit that mission, serves many age groups, many different folks from all walks of life. Building community, it gets kids outside, relatively low cost, low maintenance, fitness and wellness and health and just fun times. And those are the goals most cities have.
That is the secret code.
Yeah.
Whatever meetings you decide to do and whatever door you walk through first, hit all those points. Yeah, health and well-being sounds like a brochure.
It does.
But what are you really talking about? Had more than one person come up to me at a pump track and say, this thing saved my life, struggling with addiction, thoughts of suicide, whatever it is. I think it's easy to underestimate how powerful it is what you do when you put in something like this.
Yeah, I agree.
It saves lives, fully. I also came in as an individual.
Right.
It's much better to come in as a group, right?
That's correct.
And the group doesn't have to be an actual club. It doesn't have to be a pre-existing group. Put together a small community, and it feels different to you guys, right?
That's right. City parks are typically funded by taxpayers, so it's the community's money.
Yeah.
When your Parks and Rec department builds like a baseball field, for example, that could be upwards of $500,000 to $1 million, and that just serves baseball. When you think about a pump track, it's less than that, and it is used constantly. Very little cost up front, very little maintenance on the back end, and you are serving so many people.
There was a person at Parks and Rec who straight up said, hey, we're not in the business of putting in your personal playground.
I like saying no. It lowers their enthusiasm.
Know that you're going to encounter some friction. You might see it as red tape, but it's process.
I'm gonna guarantee if you walk into your Parks and Rec office in town, they're gonna listen. And they're gonna just lay out, here's the process you have to go through.
That whole process is there for a reason, which is how does the community get what they most need? And I think these serve the community so well. There's 40 in the US at this point. That's proof. Globally, there's over 400 now.
It's exciting when it starts to take shape.
Right now, I can already see a couple 13-year-olds making lifelong friendships. Every time I go and visit any of these pump tracks, I see friendships beginning. And it really gets me. It really gets me. Here's a theory of change, which is don't go to Parks and Rec, go to your city council meeting, armed with all the same things that you just talked about. Those meetings are not super populated, and there'll be open questions at the end of the meeting. You won't have an opportunity to present video or anything like that. You'll just have the podium, and you present the idea, go to one, and you'll get on the docket for the next meeting. Then city council is going to bring in Parks and Rec.
If you are considering going to city council, a lot of times communities also have like a smaller advisory board, like a Parks and Rec advisory board or a Parks Commission. That's also a place to go before you bump up to council.
Yeah.
But that's the place where either council or these boards are really the people listening to what the community needs and directing how the money's spent. So you're exactly right.
What do I need to do to get taken seriously when I'm at a city council meeting or I'm talking with you guys?
That's the role of a community, is to listen to their residents.
Yeah.
And so just be yourself, and that a lot of times that's more impactful. A group of teenagers or whomever just come in and say, I don't know all the language and what to say, but I want you to hear from my heart what I think would be great for this community. And that's when you get taken seriously. And
what you just said really opened my mind to this when you said a group of teenagers.
Yeah.
So whoever you are,
Right.
you can go speak to your city. That's beautiful.
Well, and it's the honest truth.
Not the suit, it's not the tie, you don't need any of that stuff.
Not at all.
You just need to do a little bit of homework.
That's right.
Know what their goals are
Right.
at the city, and then speak to how this could make a better community. You'll be taken seriously. I came to Boulder, it didn't work out the first time. I went on and I was talking to some other municipalities in the Front Range. We talked to Erie. There's a track going in at Erie. Talked to Thornton. There's probably a track going in at Thornton. Just starting the conversation and then not even being involved, these things kept going. I feel like there's a benefit to just getting a pump track on the radar of City Council and Parks and Rec. That alone might mean you have one in 3 years.
Yep. Pump tracks are that type of feature, that new amenity, that because it draws from so many different ages and groups, there's so many grant dollars. That's basically organizations that'll help give you money to do great things in a community.
I imagine you're not going to be an expert on grants. If you're talking to Parks and Rec, ask them.
That's right.
Where are some potential sources that I can go to? Because they'll have a better sense of that than you might. That's a really good segue. This pump track, it's going to be beautiful, just as is, but there's some upgrades. If you live near this pump track and you want to help make this the very best facility it can be, now's your chance. Do you guys eat it just to test it for, I just did a taste test. I'm going to put in some links to where you can fund some aspects of the sort of after build. The most important one, this tool shed. So anytime you come here, if it's snowed, you've got all the tools you need to clear the track. Shoveling off a pump track is a lot of fun. My son and I have done it. And when I say fun, rewarding, I think is what I mean.
More you can demonstrate that we're going to be there and help kind of steward this park. And if we see folks doing things they shouldn't, we're going to just call them out and say, hey guys, we put a lot of time and energy, and the community doesn't want you guys putting your artwork on.
Yeah, it's the first thing that happens though.
Yeah, anatomical
the
chart.
track went in and there were anatomy drawings instantly.
Yeah.
One of the other ways to get the graffiti not to happen is to get artists out there and actually make art all over it, because it's very uncool to put a tag on top of some art. You know what? There's all those murals now going on.
That's right.
I wonder if this project could ultimately become part of that project.
And Alex, that kind of goes to a whole other aspect, is how can you turn this into more than just recreation? It could become public art.
Would you be upset if I reached out to Boulder Mural Project?
I'd be very upset.
Okay. then I'm on it.
That's your cue right now. Call them. Not at all. That's another way that this can be like multi-use. After COVID, yeah, people are isolated. They're down. You know, we've struggled. Everyone's struggled. These are places that people can come back out, be around others.
If you're watching this and if you just bring it up at a city council meeting, if you just bring it up to Parks and Rec, enormous. That act alone, I can almost guarantee that act alone, there are ripples that save a life someday.
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right.
I really want to thank you for doing this. I think everyone wants to thank you because we're going to build hundreds of pump tracks across America now. If you like this video, hit the like button. It's really important. It makes a huge difference. And if you'd like to see more, hit the subscribe button, and we will see you next time on Joy of Bike. Namaste.